So I'm going to read the question. I'm going to give you 15 seconds to think of your own answer. You don't have to write it down unless you want to. That's called the think part. So some of you like to be able to show that you know the answer before anybody else talks about it. You know what I mean? And if you have this think time, then you do have a chance to write down your own idea first and you know it's your idea. Then after about 15 seconds, I'm going to say, okay, now take the next 30 seconds and talk to your partner so you can add to what you've already written. Therefore, when we call on you, you speak for the partnership, but you can say either what was your idea or what was the partner's idea. In other words, the partners are helping each other come up with a good list of content and of ideas, but we don't need both partners to respond. Then the next step is going to be, I'm going to call on another person to answer the same question, and another person to answer the same question. And again, you can't pass. And you can't say, I don't know. So that means that when you take your notes on your card, you should get down as many ideas as you can in the time that's available. Does that make sense to you? Okay, then I'm going to say, after I call 3 or 4 of your beautiful, beautiful sticks, I'm going to say, who has something to add? Now, some of you always want to add something. But because when you want to add something, you're rehearsing it in your head, what am I going to say if she calls on me? What am I going to say? You don't even hear what the other kids are saying. Nod your head if you know what I mean. Yes? So the rule about adding something is you may not repeat what someone else has said. If that happens, only the teacher is allowed to say, well, that's a repeat, which means I wouldn't be able to call on you again during this discussion to add anything because you've already repeated what someone else has said. So when we don't allow you to repeat, what we're really asking you to do is listen even harder so that when your card comes up, you'll be able to have a response. Raise your hand if you think you understand what I'm doing. I knew it. Okay, here's the question. John Smith had a no work, no food rule. Do you agree with this rule and think it was a good rule? Why or why not? Now don't speak to anyone and just think about what your own answer is going to be. Okay, that's 15 seconds or so. Now for 30 seconds, talk to your partner and add to your list. So what reasons do you have for voting the way you did? That was a good rule or a bad rule, and why? Go ahead, talk to your partners.
Like saying bad or not liking a certain type of.
And this is Trey. Okay, now you can tell me either your idea or your partner's idea.
I agree 100% with the no work, no eat policy, because why should you be able to sit around all day and be lazy while other people work and still eat the same? No, you shouldn't eat if you don't work. That teaches people to work for what they want.
Thank you. Liam.
I like the rule because it stands strong and it makes people work.
Thank you. Caitlin. Go ahead.
I agree because the gentleman who came didn't want to work, but they wanted food. It was unfair to John to have to do all the work and get the food. Besides, the gentlemen need to be used to getting food for themselves.
Thank you. Who has something that they'd like to say that we haven't already talked about? Yes, ma'am.
I wrote if people who work didn't get food, that can be dangerous because if you burn off a lot of calories and get really hot and everything, you need food to keep running.
Good. We're going to move on to the next question and do it the same way. John Smith came to the New World in chains. Did you know that? Because he wasn't considered a gentleman. His leadership eventually saved this very important colony of Jamestown. Does having a lot of money make you a good leader? Why or why not? Don't talk to anybody. Take 15 seconds to write down your own ideas or think of your own ideas.